You're listening to Trap Souls.
Alright, so welcome to Trap Souls. We're at Madison Seminary. It is now 10 till 2.
Again.
Take two.
Sorry.
Take two.
Again, we're at Madison Seminary.
All right, so did an investigation tonight. We had another group with us, so Nuclear Soul Seekers. We had a group called Savage Energy join us tonight in an investigation. They wanted to kind of do their own thing, but also mix their thoughts and opinions and experiences with us. They've all taken off so far tonight. That all that remains in the building is myself, Daniel Reed, and then Ryan. We wanted to kind of put together this podcast before we went and did our final investigations for the night. We still have about another hour to 2 hours, depending on when Ryan decides he's going to kick us out of the building, and we've had enough ghost action. Just to give you a little recap on what's happened so far tonight. And we did this podcast right before doing this podcast, and unfortunately the recording stopped, and we didn't know it, so we're doing it for take two. Daniel mentioned, and it's his first investigation, that he's going to simplify what he said in the first recording, and I was just explaining to him not to do that because, like, a lot of you that watch our podcast have never gone on a ghost hunt and, investigate the paranormal activities out there. And I think it's really important for people not to see just like Ryan, who's been doing this for 20 years, but to hear experiences from someone that went out in the field for the first time to get their experiences and know exactly what you might be in for during your first time. So just to recap on what I noticed tonight, very little activity up until about midnight. We actually went up to the second floor, and it was myself, Daniel, and Ryan's niece. And we went up to the second floor, went into the offices. I put up a cat ball in one door, and I put a REM pod in the other door, double door. And was trying to get the camcorder to work, so I was trying to get some night vision activity for you guys. And the camera flipped upside down and it wouldn't record, and I couldn't figure it out. And I said, well, it makes sense. Activity is going to ramp up because it's midnight, try to be a joke with it. And sure as shit, when I did that, cat ball went off, REM pod went off in the other door, and I was like, wait. I was like, I can't even record it yet. So I made a joke out of it, but that's when we got our activity, right? So I couldn't show you. But after that, we got some activity up in the attic. We'll talk a little bit about feelings and how we felt throughout the night at different points. And I just really want to kind of touch on Daniel's experiences for this podcast, as it's his first time, and he can kind of give you guys a little dive into what to expect on your first hunt and what he saw on his first. So, Daniel, if you'd like to jump in.
That was a good segue.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, of course. So coming into the first official ghost hunt, not a lot of type of paranormal activity sort of stuff in the past. A couple little things as me and you were kids. But nothing ever jumped out and really struck a nerve anywhere that I wanted to really follow up with it. You had had some experiences in the past, and then more recently I know you had joined the group, kind of sparked an interest. Lately I had been actually kind of just doing a little bit more research on mediumship and stuff like that. I'm not a medium by any means. I will not say that I even feel that way or that it's real. I'm not sure. I'm a complete skeptic with all of that. So going into tonight, I had no feelings about it. You kept on asking me if I was excited. I didn't know if I was excited or not.
Right.
I didn't know if I was excited, terrified, whatever. I was numb to it. So I had asked you not to tell me anything. Don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything that happened in the past. Don't tell me any stories about the building. Nothing like that.
Did you come in blind? Did you do any research beforehand?
No. So the only thing I had looked up was last night. I looked at the Madison Seminary page just because I wanted to see what they were posting.
Right.
And everything that was on the Madison Seminary page is what I already knew from living in the area. And I, a couple years back, probably 10, 15 years ago, randomly one day was driving by. Always thought that the building was interesting. Caught a guy outside. He said that he was a family member, took me through the building just to show me. So I saw Sarah's room, a couple of the other rooms in the Civil War house. Nothing crazy. It was a daytime, just a quick walk in, walk out. I thought it was an old dilapidated building. Never thought anything else about it. So going into tonight, no, back history or anything like that, other than it was, a home for women whose husbands had died in the Civil War, and
Right.
that building had been broken down and rebuilt and stuff. So, anyways, coming into tonight, I just wanted to more or less. I didn't expect for there to be major apparitions or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to see if I would get any of the actual feelings. I wanted to see if there would be a dreadful feeling, a fearful feeling, a cold feeling, anything. So as we came through and we started walking and everything, I just felt like it was an old, dilapidated building in a sense, and I was actually probably more interested in the infrastructure of the building.
Right.
We went into the boiler room. I was looking at the boilers and everything like that. And as we walked around, we're looking at all these old rooms, and I'm not feeling anything. And I actually had mentioned it to you a few times. I kept on feeling just really calm, like I didn't feel any sort of presence. Nothing was looming over me. Nothing was walking behind me. I turned a corner, didn't see anything. I was like, okay, this is just an old building that's empty. And then when we went up to the attic, we kind of split up into teams. We started sitting in some of the rooms, asking questions. Wasn't feeling anything. You were doing some temperature reads. We were getting a little bit of a drop or a raise in temperature here and there, but nothing. We started even being a little bit more aggressive, asking, if you don't want us here, tell us. If you want us here, tell us. If you don't want us standing in the doorway, tell us, or, give us some sort of a sign. We haven't listened to any of that video yet, so who knows what they were saying.
Right.
We might have been blind in that aspect. But it wasn't until really that we walked around to what would be the north side of the building. I kept getting drawn to these two kind of hallway. There's like a long hallway and an exit with a fire stairwell down. There's these two rooms across from each other.
In the attic.
Yes, this is all in the attic. And I kept on kind of feeling drawn to these two rooms. And I said, I don't know if these were even a room of any sort that people would have been in, because they were really small and near a fire escape. But I said, let's sit in here. So we both sat in there. We're talking to each other really more than anything. Didn't feel anything. Long story short, you were doing some video recording.
Right.
I asked you to, since we weren't getting anything, go down to the common area, do a sweep through there, and I was just going to sit in there.
Right.
And just see. And none of this was planned or anything. And you started walking and you tripped over some toys, and there was all this noise and commotion going on. And all I could think about, I was sitting in this room, and it was just, I was so calm. I was calm. Like, I almost could, fall asleep. It was really weird, because I'm in this dilapidated building. I shouldn't feel like I want to fall asleep in it, in a cold room. And while I was watching the temperature gauge thing that you had handed me, I noticed that there was a pretty drastic shift in the temperatures. When we had started, it was, 52 degrees, then it went down, then it went back up, and then when you left, almost immediately, it started just dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping, and it was mid-40s, 46,
Wow.
47.
So like a 9-degree difference.
It was just weird.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact temperature. I think we said it in the recordings. I didn't even know, actually. I had asked Ryan. I said, well, does it mean that they were around me if it got colder, if it got hotter? I didn't know. So I don't know what any of this means. But at this point in the night, I'm still kind of sitting here I haven't really experienced a whole lot. When we were in that room and the REM pod was going off and the cat ball was going off, there was no explaining it. I stepped around the cat balls. I stomped around the cat balls to try and get it to go off. I could not get the cat ball to go off unless I picked it up physically. The REM pod, I don't even know what it does. So they were both going off. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But in the rooms that we were in that are known for activity, I didn't feel anything. Sarah's room, for instance, is always brought up. I was in there 3 times. I sat on Sarah's bed. I laid on Sarah's bed. I played with Sarah's toys.
You snuggled the teddy bear.
I snuggled the teddy bear on the bed. Nothing happened, not even the cat ball. But then we were just sitting in a random room with some fine china, and we talk about it being 12 o'clock, and all of a sudden everything's going off. So I don't know if through the night or if as different people were leaving, and less people were here, maybe they could draw the energy from us a little bit more.
I don't know. I mean, I think Sarah's room is overrated.
Mhm.
I said this is my 8th time here, and I've really never had anything happen in Sarah's room. A couple EMF hits, but nothing major. I mean, I've had my chair pushed last time I was here, but maybe it's because everybody just is always at Sarah's room.
Mhm.
Maybe these other spirits in other rooms are starting to be like jealous. Like, hey, talk to me. So now they're starting to be a little more active. I don't know if that's the case of it.
It was
My
Sarah
phone.
texting you.
Yeah. She's like, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Stop talking. Stop saying I'm not here, because I am.
No, I mean, again, I think just a lot of people abuse Sarah's room as like the paranormal hotspot. And maybe these other spirits are like, I'm here too. Like,
Mhm.
talk to me. I mean, the office area, we got, some good REM pods up there and cat ball activity up there.
Mhm.
And we never have that before. So I think a lot more spirits here maybe than there was, or maybe they're starting to wake up a little bit. But again, like you said in the beginning, really nothing. It was calm.
Mhm.
My daughter and I got here early, went about 45 minutes an hour. We went up to the attic, did some investigations, just the two of us. Then we went to the back of the attic, those rooms. And in the doctor's room, we were in there for a while. Then we did Sarah's room. And that was it. I mean, it was pretty calm.
Yeah.
And
You said you had a couple feelings upstairs, right?
yeah, I'm at the doctor's room. We had some feelings up there. Both of us did when we walked in there. I'm gonna have to check the video of it when I do it. I did see a shadow figure go behind patient's chair back there through the camera, so we'll have to see if that's on there. It kind of seems like every time I catch a shadow figure on camera, I go back, it's not there. So we'll have to see how that is. But I mean, again, we had Savage Energy here. I didn't get a chance to investigate with them. They kind of went not on their own with a couple of our other members. They seem to have some experiences, and we'll have to check their video footage out. I know Aaron did a lot of video of them, and so did Craig. So, I mean, once we get through all the evidence, we'll see what we had.
Mhm.
Again, as the night went on, it got later, it got colder. It seemed to wake up a little bit.
Yeah.
And, we had some experiences up in the attic. And it's not for this podcast, maybe another podcast in the future. My niece had some experiences. Again, we come to Madison to give people who don't have experiences. And that's the main reason why we come to Madison as a group. We started this group to give people those experiences because we have the tools and we have some knowledge. And it was good to have another group here. And I'm glad with Sammy and Daniel here were our two newbies.
Mhm.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know she did.
Mhm.
Hopefully she's not too freaked out.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe it woke her up and she's gonna
yeah.
drive for it now. You never know.
Yeah.
That's your driver. She's never coming back.
She drove away for good.
Yeah, she might have drove away. So, I mean, hopefully that, I'm glad she got that experience. Most people don't. I said, we're not going to talk about what happened,
Yeah.
but she had an experience that I've never had.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
It sucks that your first experience is that intense, but it's cool on the other hand. She got to experience it. So, like you said, Daniel, like you didn't have that many experiences, but I always say just the feeling is an experience. You don't have to catch stuff on camera. You don't have to catch on EVP. You get that eerie feeling. That's an experience.
Mhm.
That's cool. I mean, your body is your best tool when you're doing paranormal. That and EVPs.
Yeah. EVPs definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see. We haven't even looked at any of them yet.
Yeah, and the big thing is, like I told Daniel, we went into all these different locations, and this was the first time I bought my own recorder, because every time I've talked to you, you always say, and you put it in my head multiple times, you're not going to hear most things, 99% of the things, to your human ear. You're just not going to have it unless you get an experience. So I was like, I'm going to bring a recorder, I'm going to segment every location we go to so I can go back and listen to it. And you were like, I go through 30 hours of investigation work every time I do this. And you pull things. Like what really got me was, and I'll never not talk about it, is when Sarah did her investigation in the attic, her duo solo, and you got that crystal clear, it was me. I hope we get something like that again,
Yeah.
because that was fantastic. You never get something like that.
No, that was obviously the best EVP I ever got. And, I mean, it was great. Hopefully we get something like that. Again, it's,
We got to go back out.
And we are going back.
We're
out.
going to go back out. So maybe we'll get something.
we might already have something. We don't know.
Yeah. And what I'll tell you is, without going into it like you said, because we want to, but we're not going to, when Ryan talks with his niece, and hopefully he can get her in on a podcast for this, her experience, you're going to love it. I was part of it with these guys, and how everything factored together for this one moment was worth this whole trip together with everybody's experiences just in that one moment. So you have to stay tuned for this. You're going to love it.
Yeah, it was, it'd be interesting to get, after she calms down, goes
Yeah.
home and thinks about it. Again, she might not want to talk about it.
Right.
I don't know, but it was a cool experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it shook her.
Yeah.
I think one thing though to say, and this is my first time here, I didn't ever get a feeling that anything was here to hurt anybody.
No.
I don't feel like, I know that you guys have said that there's different types of spirits, and I could agree with that, but nothing here wants to hurt anybody, in my opinion. Every spirit that's here is here for a reason, probably either stuck here or, here for their purpose. I'm not afraid to go back out. Am I a little bit freaked out because of the experience that she had? Sure.
Yeah.
But I almost want to try and figure it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, there's always those back rooms in the attic. There's always been something there.
There is definitely, and I'm glad that you didn't tell me anything, because then you guys let me know later in the night, hey, you were sitting in the room that actually freaks us out a little bit.
Yeah,
And
so to touch on that before he goes into this, the back room in the attic,
small room.
if you go to this, the exit sign, the room on the left.
Mm-hmm.
So I let Daniel go through each room. We went in and did an investigation with the camera, every room, 3 times. So the first 2 times we went up there, each room, he got nothing. We sat in the back room on the left. So last time I was here in Madison, and you guys can look back at the podcast from our last experience here, there were like 4 of us up in that room, and there was knocking and scratching on the walls that we couldn't explain. We sent people down to the second floor, to the main room, everything. It was not provable. There was no way to explain it, with the exception of it was paranormal or there was a raccoon in the wall. I mean, I can't disprove that, so I don't know. But that's where I felt heavy. We go in that room the first time, and Daniel's like, let's just sit down and feel it. He goes, it's so calming and relaxing in this room. And I'm sitting there like, I wasn't going to say nothing. Second time we went in there, it's the room that he mentioned. It dropped 9 degrees when I walked away. So go ahead and jump in there, but I just wanted to give that.
Well, so when we went back in there that second or third time,
Yeah.
I remember mentioning to you as well, I don't know, and I joked about it. I said, I don't know if it's the Red Bull that I've drank and the pop that I've drank,
Yeah.
but I'm having like a sharp chest pain right over my heart. I said, it's got to be the Red Bull, but it was weird because it was when the temperature was kind of raising and dropping.
And you asked a question.
And at this point, I didn't know anything about this room. I just thought that I really kept on saying this had to have been a coat closet or a janitorial closet of some kind. I don't remember what I asked though.
Were you hurt here?
Oh, I did ask that. Yeah.
And then you said your chest started hurting, and you
Yeah.
didn't know if it was in your mind because you asked that, or
Well, and I think some of it too in all of this, and for anybody who would be their first time, we were just talking about this. Your mind is going to play the biggest factor in all of this. Your body plays a big factor. Your mind plays a big factor. If I think I see an apparition sitting outside of that window, my mind is going to obviously start to kind of think that way. When I walked into this, I feel like I was so numb that I haven't seen anything yet. But you got to be able to kind of mask that fear, because anybody who walks into a old, dilapidated, scary building, you look at this from the outside, the facade of this building is grandiose. It's scary, especially at night. But I'm sitting in a super weird closet room on a attic level of an old insane asylum, in a sense it was, and I wasn't scared. But then all of a sudden I started having chest pain after I asked something if it was in pain.
Yeah.
Is that it trying to manifest?
It could just be showing you their pain.
Could it be showing me the pain? Again, I have no idea. But I can tell you I had, the thing in my hand, it never lit up. It was just the temperature was dropping. It did not drop anywhere even near that in any other place in this building. One last thing, though, that I brought up to Mark, and Ryan, you might be able to explain it a little bit more. With the energies of spirits, do you think that the seminary has been known by a lot of large, very well-known paranormal investigative groups as being super active? And then you guys have said the last couple times you've come, it hasn't been super active. Is it because possibly the modernization of the building, new fire systems, all the cameras that have been added to this building, the Wi-Fi system that's been added to this building, could all of those things that draw energy or take energy to run, could those almost be allowing these spirits to not need our energy anymore? Because they can grab it from that and still be here without us almost?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to grab energy from anything they can. I mean, the easiest source would be something that's there already. And it's always there. I mean, it's always electricity running through this building now because of that. So, yeah, and the modernization, I mean, people do it all the time, renovate houses, and that's when the activity kicks up. So they're not really renovating this to modernize it, like the floor plan or, I mean, he's done a good job of trying to make it the way it was. But thinking about like spirit from 1800s, looking in the corner, what is that? So he is modernizing it and renovating it to, cameras, fire system, stuff they've never seen before. So that can pick it up too, because they don't like it. They always say when you renovate a house and you try to modern.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Interference.
Yeah, whatever. And you try to modernize.
We just all heard that all at the same time, just so you know.
Yeah.
That was me hitting the...
And you try to modernize a house and you change it, those spirits don't like it because they like it the way it was. So it could be the same thing that, they're putting different stuff in here and they can be using that as the energy.
Well, and again, they're bringing in a lot of artifacts that probably were not in this building back when this was a hospital or the home.
Replicas from the same time frame.
Who knows what these other items actually have?
Right.
Yeah, we talked about that before in different podcasts. I talked to someone out in Fairfield. Adam owns Fairfield too, and I guess he had a place in Pennsylvania that had to be demolished. Adam tries to buy these buildings to save them, but this one could not be saved. But he took a lot of that stuff and brought it over here.
Wonderful.
And it's like
It's good though.
It is good.
it's not good. Like you can't. I mean, my belief, you can't be mixing. I mean, stuff is attached to that. You're bringing it over. You shouldn't be mixing spirits. Like they get confused, or maybe they're happy because there's other people here, other patients. I mean, you have to think of the psych patients up there. They're probably happy. Some might have been happy having new friends. So obviously, the people in the back corner of the attic, not too happy.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. So,
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what that was back in the day, because now knowing a little bit more, again, maybe it's the mind, but there is a very distinct difference between the feeling of that common area and once you get down that hall. And I actually remember way back when I walked this during the day. I can't remember what his name was who walked me through here, but I remember him saying something about there's one corner of this building that nobody likes to go around. And I always thought it was on the second floor around Sarah's room or something, but now I really do think that it was actually up in that attic area.
So when I first came here the first couple of times, that back room where Sammy had that experience, my niece, that was supposedly a male nurse that lived in that room. And he used to come out and you see a shadow figure, and Like sometimes you get like a needle stab in your leg. And that was the story then. I haven't heard that story in 10 years from here. So stories seem to
They
change.
change.
And that's why we like doing Madison, because I like try to find out what the real story is. And we ask a lot of questions to get the real story. Now that male nurse just disappeared, like now that no one talks about it. And we did an investigation out there. I separated everybody in different rooms. And I stayed in the middle and just asked questions. Again, your mind is powerful. And it did feel like I was getting stabbed in the leg by a needle. That's probably my mind just playing tricks on me. That's what I took it as. So, yeah, the stories do change. You know, same with Sarah's room. The story changes. She's demonic. She's an old lady. You know, whatever. And too bad Sarah doesn't like to talk. After 8 times, I have not gotten nothing, no answers out of Sarah's room. I don't know if there is a Sarah. I keep saying that, and I'll keep saying that till she smacks me in the face and says I'm here. Or she might just text me. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, again, cool experiences here. We did come here late December because it's cold. That's what I wanted. We did last February. We did it, and we had a lot of experiences. 2 in between, not so much. So I thought the cold might have something to do with it. Still unsure about that. I mean, obviously a little more activity than the last 2 times. And it wasn't as cold as I thought it would be. I was hoping it'd be a little colder. Because in February, I think it was like 5 degrees. It was cold. You thought tonight was cold. It was cold.
Tonight is cold.
It's not that cold. We're good. It's not that cold. But, yeah, so once we go over the evidence, we'll let you know that, yeah, if you want to do investigation in Madison, dress warm and come when it's cold.
So I guess last thing I'll say is, Daniel, overall, wrap it up in a few sentences. How was your first experience?
I think so far, because I'm very skeptical that when we go back out, there might be a little bit more activity. There's only 3 of us here now.
Yeah. Right.
There's only 3 people that if these spirits want to gravitate towards somebody, there's only 3 people to do it with right now.
Right.
Before there was quite a few of us, and it's later in the night. It's colder now. I'm very excited to see if we do get a little bit more activity. I don't want an experience like your niece had, but if it happens, it happens. I don't think anything's here to hurt me, but if it happens, we'll deal with it then. I may never want to come back, but overall, I don't think anybody should be afraid to do this, especially if you're with a group that is knowledgeable, has some equipment. That definitely helped make me feel a little bit more comfortable. In the very beginning, I was flashing my flashlight everywhere, trying to figure my way around. Now I'm like, okay, let's go. Don't turn on your flashlight. Like, I want to see. But I have a feeling of a little bit more understanding of the building.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious. I might feel completely different after we look at all the evidence. Mark was mentioning that when he was recording, there were some orbs flying around and some other stuff. So I'll be very interested to see what actually comes of all that and when I actually have to see that. But again, I definitely want to come back. I want to do another one.
Good.
Not maybe necessarily here, maybe here. But at this point, I'm not freaked out enough to not come back.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have respect for the spirits. And
100%.
And we talked about it, because we talked with Sammy about it, is these spirits want to be here, or they're trapped here. So
Will they be trapped souls?
they might be trapped souls. That's odd.
That is odd. Did you give some merch out today?
I did. We played a game.
What kind of game did you play today?
It was like beer pong, but not with beer, because we don't drink alcohol while we're on investigations.
Of course not.
But no, we did a little, had some red solo cups with numbers under it, and you got to throw a ball and match a number to the list I had.
And what happened if you got a number, per se?
So some people won merch. 5 people won solos. So they had to go do solos.
They were kind of duos, though.
Yeah, they were kind of freaked out, so I let them pick someone to go with them.
Which was good, because there were a couple new people, a couple people from the other group, and they don't really like to go by themselves, so.
Yeah, and the one person that was like, I'll go by myself was my niece.
And she did.
She did. Yeah, she's a
She was in the
badass.
attic by herself. Let that be known coming into your next podcast. Your niece was in the attic by herself for a
like
half
30
an
minutes,
hour.
yeah.
By herself.
And her first time investigation ever.
Yeah.
First time.
Solos are important. I mean, they're very important during investigations. I did a few of them tonight, 2 or 3, so those videos will be out.
Yep.
I don't know if I got anything, but who cares? They were fun.
Yep.
I get to spend some quality time by myself.
Absolutely. And you love that, even though you're such a social
I
butterfly.
am a social butterfly.
So with that, I'll say my final few things. Daniel, thanks for coming on your first trip. This
Thanks
was
for
a little,
having me.
little birthday surprise
Yep.
for you. We talked about our merch, and Ryan's going to take off like he does with letting you know everywhere you can reach us. Just make sure that you keep following us. The TikTok, we're bringing more shorts to you guys on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Facebook Live. So
Say TikTok again.
TikTok.
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 So hopefully we get more to you. Daniel, when we do our next episode of Beyond the Bourbon, and we have a conversation. What's that?
Beyond the bourbon.
Beyond the Bourbon. We can patch you in on a phone call.
Oh, that'd be great.
So after we get all the investigation done and Ryan's able to put everything together, we'll bring you in on the call and go over the evidence and get your feelings on it.
Yeah,
Ryan?
so thank you for listening to Trap Souls. You can follow us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, obviously. TikTok at
TikTok.
Say TikTok.
TikTok
TikTok.
TikTok.
at nuclear.souls.seekers. And you can follow us on Facebook, Trap Souls. If you want to follow us at Nuclear Soul Seekers, you can.
Salute.
That's it. Peace out.